All right, I think everybody kind of recognized Terry Birdsong. He played here, coached 2 or 3 different places, and he's had a real successful career. Tell us a little bit about your history of maybe playing and coaching, Terry.
Yeah, most of my history, Ed, as a player, of course, right here in Marshall County, and started like most kids in the 3rd grade, and played through the elementary program. You know, back then it was a true little league. We didn't have the travel teams and all the stuff they have now. And then progressed into junior high back then. The freshmen were still at Benton. Played for some good coaches, Coach Davis, David Davis. Loved playing for him. Probably my first true coach that I had. Mm-hmm. And then played out here, of course, under Coach Hatcher, which is another legendary coach. I was fortunate enough, blessed, in the right place at the right time a lot, and tried to take advantage of it. And then was fortunate enough to have success here and got to play at the college level at Western and Murray State, and so spent 75% of my life playing basketball or coaching basketball.
Right.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, that just kind of gets in your blood, don't it?
It does. When I got done playing in college, I took a little time off, and it wasn't long until I knew I wanted to coach. I just needed a little break, and then got my student teaching done, and then Jeff Jackson hired me at University Heights at Christmas after my student teaching, and man, what a great coach Jeff is, and another coach that I got to learn from and mentor me, and right. Just very fortunate.
Well, that's nice that you went those places and played under good coaches, and because that gives you some things to talk to the teams about, things that you've learned from other places and so forth. Right,
and when you play for, in my mind, some of the best coaches that's ever come through the state of Kentucky at the high school level, Alan Hatcher, Jeff Jackson, many just great coaches, but you learn a lot. And right. Not only do you learn things that work, but you also learn things that you don't want to do or right. that you can't do. Right. Because kids, in my opinion, kids have the ability to see from the inside out, and you got to be yourself, and you got to do it your way, yeah. and take the good, and then find the things that don't work as a player and a coach, and then kind of move them to the side.
One of the things that we wanted to do is so many times people don't know where Western Kentucky. They think it ends at Owensboro. And we've had some great coaches, great players down in this 13 county area that we're covering down here, mm-hmm. that just a lot of people don't know about.
That's right. And when I was coaching, the years we were fortunate enough to go up to Lexington to the state tournament or play in a Christmas tournament or something, you could feel it. Just the media and the attention that the teams down in this part of the state get. It seems to be a little less than the Eastern Kentucky teams and the Lexington teams, and then Louisville teams, of course. But when you get out there and you play the game, the last 15, 20 years, first and second region, third regions had a lot of success at the state level. And I think part of that is I do think that this area's been blessed with a lot of great coaches over the years that have taken good talent, maybe not great talent, and made them into really good players, and they, coached them up, and that talent with good coaching meshed to bring a lot of success into this area, state championship level success.
I've known more about the coaches here in Marshall County that are not head coaches, and we've had some terrific coaches in our middle schools and junior highs.
Oh yeah. Well, I know for me personally, when I was a head coach, I tried every year to find the best middle school coaches I could find, because they're the first real, in my opinion, if you do a program right, they're the first real introduction to what's coming ahead. Right. And a good middle school coach, I think, doesn't concern himself so much with wins and losses, but just what's best for the kid, develop the kid, do everything you can to get them in a position to play at the high school level, because that's the goal of all of them,
right.
is to run out. I know here at Marshall, kids dream, like I did, they dream of playing here and playing on this court. And you know, a good middle school coach will identify that and nurture it. So I think that's very important, and we have been blessed.
I was I just thought of a funny story there. Back during one of the Hoop Fest things, I was keeping the book up there, and we had the little dribblers come out there. I mean the little bitty dribblers. And some lady from Tennessee said, "Y'all start them pretty young." And I said, "Well, quick as they get through changing the diapers out there, the rest of them will be out here." But we do start them young, and that's good. Well, tell us a little bit about some of the great successes that you had with teams.
Well, I started coaching with Jeff Jackson, as I mentioned earlier, at University Heights, and I spent a year and a half there with him, and great learning environment. And then my first head coaching job was at Webster County, and we were fortunate enough to have enough success that I think it maybe led to a better job. And I went to Caldwel County, and had planned on staying there for a while. And Calloway County called me and offered me the job, and my wife wanted to get back in this area, in this region. She has a big family like I do, and so I took the Callaway job, and took us a while. We won 6 games in my first year there, and but we kept, I kept thinking back to the things I'd been taught, the things I had learned, work ethic and coaching every team like a championship level team, even though they may not be. You want them to feel that way. So we just, nose to the grindstone, kept doing it the way we had been taught and the way I knew worked. And I think I reflected back, Ed, on my playing days, and was fortunate enough here at Marshall to have enough success that to really kind of know what success looked like, and kind of pattern my coaching after that. I always thought there was a big difference between getting beat and losing. And we never wanted to lose. We got beat a lot of times, but we tried not to lose, and we just put that mentality in at Callaway. Then 4 years later, we were fortunate. We won the school's first regional championship, 2003. Got back to the finals in 4 and 6 and a couple more years, and then went to Graves and replaced Coach Hatcher, who I played for here at Marshall, and had a good run there. Was there 7 years and won a couple of regional titles and got to the championship game, I think 4 times. And then my daughter started middle school, and Callaway had an opening and called me, and I just felt like at that time it was the right thing to do, and I went back to Callaway. And I'll never forget, a man at Graves told me one time, he said, "Boy, they must have really liked you at Callaway to hire you twice after you left them." And but I had a lot of good friends there, and had probably, on paper, probably my best team in 2015 with those kids at Callaway. Went 30-4 and made it to the Elite 8, and had some just really hard-working kids, good support. And then I ended my career here at Marshall. I took the Marshall job in 2017 and stayed the head coach here for 5 years. Got to the finals and lost in the final. Lost a heartbreaker in the final 2 seconds of the regional championship. So, but I knew at some point, I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. I knew that I was getting. The thing with coaching, and when you turn on the TV and you see these guys, Tom Izzo, for example, at Michigan State, and these other guys, Patino, these guys are in their 70s, and they're still have that love for the game. They're competitive. For me personally, I got to the point where, each year the kids were saying the same age, and I was getting a year older, and a year older, and a year older, and all the guys I was coaching against were half my age. So you just it was almost like a natural time clock that, hey, it's time to turn it over to someone, and then, live the rest of your life, do something else. And so
it appears right now, if you're not expending a lot of energy as a coach, you're not doing anything.
Yeah, it's been that way for a while, and when I first got into coaching, we played in a couple summer leagues, and then the kids had some time off. But now it's not so much the coaches doing it, the head coaches. It's all these, they're playing on this team and that team. It's things they're deciding to do.
Right.
But yeah, they want you to come watch them, and they want you to be involved, and you got a kid playing here and here and here, and it'll wear you out.
During all this coaching, there's bound to be some unusual things or some kind of funny story, and we like to put those on here too, because that's what a lot of people like to talk about.
Yeah, and I've got a lot of them. One thing that I've always told that I thought was a good story was back when I was playing, actually, playing for Coach Hatcher at Marshall County. And some of the drills we did and some of the things back then, if you did today, you'd be fired before you ever got out of your coach's office. You just can't do them. But I remember a funny time, anybody that knows Coach Hatcher, he was a great mentor for me, but could be tough to play for. I mean, very demanding, and I remember one time we got beat and we came in practice the next day and we were in the locker room getting ready and he come in there and he's still mad. It might have been 2 days. We might have lost on a Saturday and we had Sunday off and came in Monday and he was still mad. And I'll never forget, I wore ankle braces and I had a knee pad and some other guys had different stuff. And he said, we're one of the softest teams he'd ever coached. We got to get tougher. So he said, starting today, you're not wearing anything but your uniform, practice uniform. So he said, if you got ankle braces on, and of course we couldn't wear headbands, didn't want to, wristbands, all that, but everybody, we just took off everything we had but our shorts and our top and socks, shoes. And when I remember walking out of the locker room and there was a pile of stuff,
yeah.
Sweatbands, knee pads, ankle braces, and he wouldn't let us wear them. And that happened several times. And just the way the games ended, sometimes good, sometimes bad, but you never forget. Yeah. Unfortunately, and you coached a long time, you probably felt this way too. The older you get, it seems like the losses and the unfortunate things tend to outweigh the success and the good things, and you start dwelling on the shortcomings and the things you didn't do. But that I always thought that was a funny story. I never did that as a coach, but after we got done playing, we all laughed about that because that was pretty drastic. But I just think, Ed, just fortunate to coach against a lot of top-notch coaches, and I've had some assistants that have went on to do great things, and I follow them closely and very proud of all of them. And I told every one of them, basketball in this area, if you're not careful, your whole self-worth will get tied up in the scoreboard, because that's how people judge you and that's how people look at you. And so I always tried to keep that front and center, that there's way more to these coaches out here than just basketball. Most of them are good dads, they're good fathers, they're good brothers, they're good husbands, they're active in their community, they're active in their churches. They do way more than just coach a basketball game. And I always tried to stay well-rounded.
Well, that's really good. We're just trying to preserve some of this kind of history for people on down the road that, and when you go back to older times, you find stories that you couldn't do now. Rules have changed over a period of time. So we're doing that, and really pleased that you came out and shared this with us today. And hopefully we can get this whole thing going and have a heritage museum here for Western Kentucky, 13 counties. Thank you very much, Terry.
Well, Ed, I appreciate it. Thank you for all the work you've put into this. It's something that needs to be done. It's needed to be done for a long time. The one up in Eastern Kentucky is fantastic. If you've been, I know you have, but for a lot of people that haven't been up to that and saw the history, they've preserved it. Right. And as a former history teacher, I think that's very important. These young kids, they need to see more. They need to see trophies, and they need to see success. A lot of times now it's how nice is the locker room, how big is the gym, what kind of travel suits are we wearing, as opposed to the history of the game. And I think this is a great thing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.